Hey guys, Anthony the Rag Company, and in today's exciting video, we're applying one of the easiest and most versatile Gtechniq ceramic coatings in their lineup. Let's do it. An easy to apply, versatile coating for everyone. This is something we've all heard before, many times, but we've never heard this from one of the biggest coating manufacturers in the world, which happens to be Gtechniq. And this is their first coating that they've ever made that wasn't meant to be this 7-year, 9-year, 10-year, 20-year ceramic coating. It's actually quite the opposite. They've made something more simple, last a shorter amount of time, but ultimately be something that everybody watching this video right now can apply anywhere, anytime. So while I can probably figure this out myself, I thought, why would I do that when I can bring in somebody from Gtechniq North America? So joining me today is Carson. How's it going?
I'm doing awesome.
Walk me through what comes in the GT1 coating kit.
Yeah, so it's comprehensive. Basically everything you need, all the way from gloves, panel prep, applicator, and even leveling microfibers are all in the box. So We've got a bottle of our panel wipe here. This is enough to do any size vehicle all the way up to a larger truck. I mean, I've even gotten an F250 or even an F350 with a dually, and that's enough panel wipe to get you kind of sorted. So we're only gonna include our larger bottle, which is the 50 ml. Cool thing with this is it works on everything. So glass, paint, wheels, etc. So you name it, if it's on the outside of the car, you're really good to go with this, even PPF or vinyl. So larger AP5 applicator, it's gonna be really easy to install. Realistically, working almost full panels at a time. So that's gonna be a nice feature. And then you can kind of pop up this initial cover, and then underneath is gonna be a little bit of a guide. If it's your first time, it's a good idea to read through it. But the cool thing with this product is you'll see that we have kind of a lot of leeway. So it'll say leave the coating on for up to 60 seconds. If it's a little bit longer, that's okay too. So it's not like our Crystal Serum Light and Exo where it's super strict. If it's something that you're new to and you haven't even done a decon wash or anything like that, we still recommend deconning the vehicle before. If it's your first time doing something like that, the wash guide is going to be helpful to go in and kind of look at everything in that. And then you've got a bunch of leveling towels as well. So comprehensive.
Sweet. Most importantly here, we are starting off with a clean vehicle. So we have this Land Cruiser that we have gone through and gave a quick decon wash. And then following that, we went through and clayed the surface.
Another optional thing with this coating is you can polish if you find any unsightly defects. It's not a requirement. The coating's still going to last 12 months whether we polish or not. So as long as we decon and panel wipe, we're gonna be good to go for a year with this product.
Cool. So I'm really excited. So let's go ahead, head over the vehicle, get some gloves on, and walk through the application process. Here we are at the hood, which is a starting point for many people when it comes to a coating. Now, the reason why you want to knock out your horizontal surfaces first, because you're going to be potentially leaning on the vertical panels. We don't try not to, but in the case that you do, you don't want to have this coating already applied and then be leaning up against it. So it's best to start off on the roof, the hood, the trunk, spoiler, things like that to begin. So we have panel wipe here. Yes. What is panel wipe for people who don't know?
Panel wipe's an alcohol-based prep solution. So the goal of this is to remove oils and residues that would otherwise be on the surface from our prep steps that could otherwise inhibit the bond of the coating.
And this is a very important thing when it comes to any coating application. And the reason for that is that when a manufacturer develops a coating, right, and they are doing longevity testing, they're doing weather testing, and everything like that, they are usually using their own prep solution with their coating to get those results. If you are using a different prep solution other than what's recommended here, you may not have a lot of the same results that they tested and that they verified, right? For the application here, what we're gonna do is take a towel and they recommend spraying it into the towel, correct?
Yeah, it's a strong solvent and it's going to soften that paint slightly so that it can kind of go deeper and allow, if you did polish, to remove a lot of those oils that can sometimes trap deeper into the finish. And so spraying it directly on the paint can over soften certain areas. So that's just a good way to make sure you have an even kind of effect of the panel wipe.
One recommendation is that if you have touch-up paint anywhere and you've done some touch-up jobs, I recommend lightly going over those areas and not really scrubbing at it, because panel wipe is pretty potent stuff and it can pull out really, we'll call it low-grade touch-up paints, right? So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get that towel here on the surface, and when you start wiping it, you are going to see it basically cause a quick little snail trail, and then it's going to evaporate pretty much immediately, right? But you want to keep it relatively damp, right?
Yeah, realistically, the initial saturation of the towel should be kind of lightly damp. You want to see usually just a little bit of a trail, kind of like what we're seeing here. And it's really just going to kind of vaporize off. You're not going to really have to come back and back buff it. If there's some light streaking, you can go back, but realistically, even for a larger SUV like this, just one towel should be sufficient to get you around all the surfaces on the vehicle. Do all the surfaces you're intending to coat. I think a lot of people are so used to just coating paint with a paint coating, they kind of will skip other surfaces and then end up coating surfaces that weren't panel wiped. So just go ahead and panel wipe everything.
At this point, we have now prepped half of this hood. What we're gonna showcase is going kind of panel by panel. While you could just go around and prep the entire vehicle in one run, it really depends on your environment. So if you are doing this outdoor as a mobile detailer, right, and you have dust, pollen, things like that, right, you don't wanna prep everything, have it accumulate some type of debris, and then coat over that debris because you're gonna gunk up your applicator. You are going to spread dirt into your panel, and you don't wanna do that. So we recommend, if you can, even in a mobile situation, tackle certain areas at a time. And so we have half the hood here, which this should be a cakewalk. So we'll grab the coating and an applicator. Coating in hand, applicator in hand. If you choose not to use Gtechniq's applicator, that's fine. Because here at the Rag Company, we specialize in premium microfiber and premium microfiber products, meaning that you can find an applicator that's slightly larger or slightly smaller, depending on your needs. And a lot of them have no-soak technology built into them, meaning that you are going to prevent that coating from absorbing into the sponge of the applicator itself. Not meaning to say that this won't work. It will, but we do applicators better. We have your applicator, your coating, and you have a little dropper kind of thing built into the coating.
Yeah, so we call this our bartender's pour dropper because you're able to kind of just break that seal, just try to initially saturate it. You saw I probably did about a 2-second pour there. So that's about what we're going for, and then we're ready to go ahead and apply. And this is gonna be good for about half the larger size panels, or if this were, you know, us coating the fender, this would be enough for me to go ahead and do that whole fender.
I do try to tell people, if it's your first time ever coating something, look at your vehicle and or whatever you're working with and figure out what is a way that you can cut this hood up, right, mentally, and remember it to where you know where you're gonna go, where you've been, and so on. So oftentimes with like a big flat hood, you can cut it into quarters, right? You can basically just make like a square, but with this coating, we can just knock out half of it because it's got a lot of working time.
Yeah, and it's really easy. So I'll go ahead and start applying. I like to draw myself what I call a river, which is essentially gonna be a midpoint where I can pull some product from. Okay. Again, it's optional. It can be more helpful with some of our other higher solids coatings where you have a little bit less working time and they're a little bit more specific with how they bond. And we still recommend cross-hatching. It's just gonna help make positive that you have even coverage across the panel. And any little areas that you miss, just come back and hit it real quick with that applicator. But what that river allows me to do is kind of continue pulling product every time I cross through it so that I have even distribution of the product across all 4 corners of my application. But what we're looking for now is we're looking for our coating to sweat. And this is kind of a characteristic that we have with a lot of other coatings in our lines. So Crystal Serum Light, EXO, even Ultra are going to sweat. The nice thing with this is even after it's sweat, so this coating is already sweat. Even after it's sweat, I could probably wait another 30 seconds and still not be too worried about it. So don't sweat it. We're looking for the panel to absorb as much product as possible. And then as that coating starts to set up and covalently bond, it's actually gonna reject the excess and it's gonna start to beat it up and repel it. And so that's what that sweating is. It's these tiny kind of little dots across the panel.
So as long as you can continually see it on the panel, I don't think there's anything to worry about, right? I mean,
realistically not.
Plenty of wipe off time. Now, one cool thing that you can do is when you're looking at the coating as you're applying it, the whole thing will get very blurry, right? Like you have bad vision or you put on somebody else's glasses, right? But then it'll slowly but surely start getting more and more clarity, like your eyes are adjusting or like you put on the right glasses. That is the point in which you have clarity to wipe it off. So I'm looking down here, I can see my face clearly. We're good to go.
And just for reference, it's been about 2.5 minutes. Okay. So we recommend 60 seconds, but again, we're indoors, so we can go a little bit larger than that application window on the guide. Grab 2 microfibers. I'm gonna set one aside. The first one, again, there's not really a whole lot of method to my madness here. I'm really just gonna try and kind of scoop up the majority of that excess product. Okay. And you'll see it starts to get a little bit streaky. That's completely normal. That's just a little bit extra carriers on the surface. And you'll see it darkens that towel where we kind of have a lot of that excess. This is when I come back, super easy. I'm just gonna kind of wipe this excess product off. and you'll see it kind of goes into a nice high shine, completely streak-free.
Yeah.
The big thing with Gtechniq coatings is we've always recommended a 12-hour cure, and we still recommend that with this. Let's say that we get a little bit of inclement weather a little bit sooner than that 12-hour period. It's not the end of the world. So that's a really cool thing. It's not going to be as prone to water spotting during that cure as some of our other coating products.
I can confidently say that this alleviates a lot of that nervousness for new people. Like, I can imagine you buying this for the first time, taking it home, using it, and it's a stress-free process because this is probably easier or as easy to apply any wax. I mean, if you can apply a wax, you can apply this. It's that simple. So very, very cool. So we'll work our way to the other side of the hood, knock out that really quick. I am using Carson's little river method, and it's working perfectly for this. And this is a pretty large hood. I mean, thing's pretty decent sized. So I'm gonna come back through, do my cross hatching. I always like to make sure my edges are covered, right? Make sure you're going through and getting those, because oftentimes people will kind of neglect that. And then they go back and they go, I got a spot I missed, right? Especially once you wash it for the first time. So make sure you kind of do some edges and box everything in. I am applying finger pressure here. So you're not going to be trying to, drive this down into the clear coat. You're really just letting the applicator do the work. Nozzles here on the hood, just coat right over them. Don't stress about it, right? This coating can go on trim. This coating can go on everything. So even if you do hit certain things, I'm not worried about it, right? And oftentimes too, when we are detailing, especially if you're coating cars, this happens. Oh crap, I got coating on the window and I forgot it's there. We're gonna leave that square there. And we're gonna see what happens later on. I'm gonna grab some towels and to my 2-towel method. And here, after my face starts looking normal again, by looking into this paint, I'll know it's time to wipe it off. So we can start pretty much anywhere, but I'll go ahead and start getting this all mopped up. And once you start wiping, you're gonna start seeing a bigger snail trail. Don't freak out, that's totally normal. And you're gonna see that a panel may appear even darker. That's also normal, don't worry about that. So right now, I'm just focused on getting rid of that excess. And if I want to, I can flip my towel at a certain point, do one more little kind of quick pass over that, and I'm gonna go ahead and call it there. And now we'll go ahead and actually start waxing on, waxing off. And right when you start making this pass over, you're gonna start seeing that pretty much immediate clarity. So I've just finished up with the entire hood now. So the hood feels awesome. All of the coating has been wiped off and it looks perfect, seamless, right? But what about that spot that I left here on the window? And I've been sitting here for, I don't know, another 7, 8, 9 minutes or so. So is that gonna come off? I hope so. Came off. Feel like I probably could have left that there for another hour or two and it would have still came off. Let's move on to a door. And let's talk about knocking out a door with the trim and the window all at the same time. Generally speaking, when it comes to doing a coating, we usually just tackle certain segments at a time. We never try to do everything in one run because there's different coatings for different applications and you want to have some type of separation, right? Well, what if we don't do that? We're gonna coat everything. We're gonna coat the trim, the glass, the door handles, the paint, all the way down to, well, maybe not the step down here, but almost down to the step. So we're gonna go ahead and spray my panel prep here. And I'm gonna start right up here at the top. And I'm going to go through, wipe my trim, I'm gonna wipe my glass, box this in, make sure it's nice and clean and prepped. Normally, I'm going to take a door panel, right? Just the painted areas. I'm gonna usually split this in half. I'm gonna say here to about here. I'm never ever going to usually attempt to coat an entire door with the glass. It's just something you don't do with coatings, but I wanna see if Carson can do it.
So I'm gonna saturate, because we're working a larger panel, I am gonna oversaturate this just a little bit. That should be just about right. Let's start with the glass.
Oh, he's going right over the trim, okay, all right. Oh, and we're down to the paint. Here we are. You're actually moving at what I would call like action speed. Like you're actually doing this for money right now. You've now knocked out I don't know, what is like an eighth of this car here?
I don't know, if I'm a detailer, I'm making some money right now though.
Oh yeah, you are. You could go ahead and start applying on that panel.
Yeah.
And that panel.
Yeah. Oh, especially in conditions like this.
And then by the time you're done applying it, you're ready to wipe that off. I do love the amount of working time this is. This is a lot less stressful.
I feel like this is where a lot of people get concerned with stuff like that, where you have
they do. And then
partial coverage and you're like, what's gonna happen?
You kind of start having a little bit of analysis paralysis around there and you start wondering, oh no, is that gonna look right? So here we are, the wipe off. It's looking easy. You're knocking down the excess here. And on the trim, we're seeing like the trim's getting restored. I mean, pretty much immediately. Now, if you had to make a priority level of like, what's your biggest priority here? The glass, trim, paint, what are you focusing on first?
Probably glass, because glass is one of the less porous surfaces. So you're gonna have more coating start to reject and kind of dry faster there than you would probably clear coat or something with a little bit more porosity to it.
Okay, so basically just knock out the glass first if you can.
Yeah, it's a minor difference, to be honest with you. And I think even if you did forget to and you just decided to wipe this whole panel in one, I think that's still okay.
So what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna knock out this door and I'm gonna knock out that fender in literally one run.
It's gonna be quick.
Starting the timer now, you're gonna prep and coat. So knocked out the door, the fender here. Really, your only downtime is just gonna be the actual application and then the spreading in with the towels. So if you can have everything with you here, so you can knock out a full section at a time, it would go a lot faster. Which brings me to a good question for everybody watching. Would you want to see a coating speedrun video? Like, how long does it really take to coat a car from top to bottom, and what would be a reasonable amount to charge for that coating job? So I think you guys kind of have the main gist of this. Let's go ahead and focus and highlight on a couple very specific things. Let's coat a wheel.
And I've got an idea. We did a high spot on the glass. Let's just leave that. So we're gonna go ahead and coat the wheels. These wheels are actually decently oxidized and are still a good candidate for GT1. So you don't have to have perfect brand new wheels to get them coated. We still wanna hit them with some panel wipe. I've got a little bit of tire dressing that's around the lip of the wheels. So want to make sure all that's off so that there's no silicones that are going to mess with anything. And it's a good idea to do the wheels last because nobody's perfect. There's probably still going to be a little bit of transfer that comes off onto these wheels, onto this applicator. I'm going to do just that front half of the applicator so that I can kind of take my index finger and start to kind of tuck that applicator into the wheel. If you have more intricate wheels, you can work in sections, but typically with a coating that's this straightforward and simple to apply, you can go ahead and do the entire face at one time. And as far as the leveling towels go, when they start to get kind of marked up like this, it's a good idea to just flip them over to a new side. And remember, there's 4 towels in the kit. So once you get to a point where you're like, man, I've got this towel completely demolished, just toss it, grab yourself a fresh one from the kit. On more textured finishes like matte or satin, you're not gonna see as much of a sweat occur. So kind of using that idea of 30 to 60 seconds is gonna help you in kind of a little bit more different scenarios where you have a variety of different surfaces that might not show that sweat behavior. So it's been about 45 seconds. I'm just gonna go ahead and start leveling. That's all she wrote. So super easy, straightforward. It took me about 1.5 minutes start to finish on the face of that wheel. So multiply that by 4, we're still under about 10 minutes to get the wheels all sorted, and that's for 12 months. So GT1's gonna be safe on really any style of wheel finish. So powder coated wheels, even if they're matte, satin, gloss, clear coat. Heck, if you can reach back to those, brake calipers, give those a coat as well. So really any painted surface, anything with some style of plasticize on there, you're good to go. Gonna go ahead and sling some extra product on the windshield as well. This product's safe on glass, even if there's wipers hitting it. So the cool thing with this is we can go ahead and coat the whole windshield in really one go. So I'm gonna go ahead, make that river, cross right through it. And so a lot of people are probably gonna ask, what's the difference between a coating like this, the GT1, and a dedicated glass coating? The real difference is that this is gonna be a little bit less abrasion resistant than the other coatings from Gtechniq that are dedicated for this surface, such as our G1. So G1 is a chemically bonding quartz-based glass coating. This is going to be more focused on siloxanes and repellency, and it's a little bit more formulated for a wider variety of surfaces. So the translated durability on glass is going to be less than something like our G1, which is dedicated for about 20,000 miles of glass protection and is more abrasion resistant. So the more you use your wipers, the faster it's going to degrade a coating like this, and the less it's going to degrade a glass dedicated coating, which has more film build thickness. But this is still going to be excellent as far as protection, and it's gonna be minutes of time versus kind of setting aside an hour to get everything kind of locked and loaded on our glass. So 11:06, so what is that? 13, 14 minutes. This would otherwise be an impossible to remove high spot with any of our other coatings, but let me just see if I can kind of get that to wipe off. Using maybe a pound of pressure, gone. If you have a high spot like that, come back with one of your leveling towels, hit it, good to go.
So you just wrapped up the windshield as well as a wheel.
Absolutely.
You only did one wheel.
Well, it's not my car.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm kidding. We're actually gonna go through and coat the rest of this vehicle. We are going to do that. Now, we do have some questions here. In terms of temperature, we are able to apply this outdoors in a temperature as low as?
About 5 Celsius or just above freezing. So 32 to 40 degrees, you're still good to go.
Okay, and then in terms of heat, what can we do?
Max is 40 Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. So really any environments, even the guys in Vegas, as long as you've got shade, green light to apply GT1.
You'll be able to find all of what you need here at theradcompany.com. So if you want to swap out with a different applicator, you can do that switching to our no stoke. Or if you want to use a different lineup of towels, you can do that as well. So that is going to wrap it up for this video, Carson. I appreciate you coming out all the way from Georgia. And so if you've never applied a coating before, let us know down in the comments. Let us know if you're still nervous about this, and maybe we can help alleviate those nerves by responding down below and kind of helping you out. As always, if you guys love the detailing content and you love Gtechniq, make sure to give us a big thumbs up, subscribe down below for more, and stay tuned for more videos right here at The Rad Company. Thanks for watching.